sometimes you just got to drive to where you want to ride because, you know, you've got a car that suits that. A little bit of a drive before my Sunday morning ride. I jumped in the car, took my new bike, and I'll soon change these for my cycling shoes, and I'll set off along Putty Road. And hopefully the traffic will behave. Second Sunday in a row that I've come northwest. It's the second Sunday in a row that I've jumped in the car before going for a ride, packed my bike and my kit and set off just to go somewhere different, just to get out of the city, just to try, you know, new things like a new car and now, today, a new bike. This is my fourth ride on the Cinelli and already I'm pretty comfy. Today, I'm in the mood, conditions are good, the bike is singing, and the road is free of traffic. A different kind of adventure awaits. Story of my ride, 11th of August, 2024. I'm on the Putty Road, leading me towards Singleton, but I'm not going that far. That's about 135k from where I parked up. The plan is a very loose one. Aim towards the Hunter for a little while along the Putty Road. Tick off, let's say, 50, 60, 70 kilometres, turn around and go back into town. And ideally, have no hassles, ride my bike, get to know it without distraction, and get a bit of exercise and free my mind. Minimal distractions, car count, maybe 10, maybe. Motorbike count, maybe 25. A momentary pause to take in the blissful serenity. I hadn't realised it was quite so quiet because I've been pedalling the whole time. But this is just a little bit after I spoke to you from the bike. Up until this point, it seems like it's just been crest, 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 crest. You know, like there's undulating. It's not hard. There's patches at 6% perhaps, but it's just sort of feels like you're going up, 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 up. And even though the elevation gain isn't increasing that much, it still goes up, up, up. And now what looks like could be my first dose of downhill. Bike, so good I've hardly noticed it. Anyway, I'll tell you more about it at the turnaround or something when I've had a little bit more time to gauge its handling characteristics. So, after crest comes a lovely speedy downhill. And this bike, while it's super predictable, it wasn't a curvy downhill, but it was fast. Like I got up for quite a while at speeds of over 75k an hour. And death wobbles or any concerns or gripes, nah, none at all. Totally stable, super stable. And now I'm just in the drops, tapping away. A little bit lower than I have been on my previous bike, and I like it. I like it a lot. Back to the bike. Yeah, lower at the front than I had on my previous bike, and that was largely a result of, we'll do it later. I wasn't certain about my position requirements, so I just said, look, let's just leave that fork. We'll bang in a few spaces, and once I get used to the bike, we'll trim the fork. We never did. So it stayed the same as it originally was for over 5 years. And clearly, you know, like, it must have been pretty suitable, but I kind of wish that I'd cut that steerer, because right now with this setup, it's bloody terrific, and I think it just gives me that little bit of extra stretch in my back that allows me to sort of not feel like I'm doubling over just in the small of my back. And it's suitable, and it's very stable. The time came where I had to buy a handlebar and stem package, and a lot of them aren't cheap. This one's relatively well priced. It costs that much, can't remember. And it's bloody stiff as a board. Like, one of the standout features of my Focus Izalco Max was the very robust stem. I would say probably bloody heavy, but I always sort of thought that that sort of added to the stability of that bike, because it was super stable. Anyway, after only a few rides with these, I can say these are way stiffer. And what does that mean? Well, it's not like you're like going woof and bending the handlebar and stem combo that I had. I mean, it wouldn't be movement that's visible to the eye on the old one. But when you're getting zero movement, the difference, that's just noticeable when you're riding. Okay, remember that place? Cases Culvert. I'm sure you've never heard of it before. I haven't. The Putty Road is serving me well, because all I wanted to do was to ride and ride and ride. And I've been doing that. I've been doing that almost an hour and a half now. And traffic minimal, attitude of motorists actually pretty bloody good. And I'm just leaving the Hawkesbury, evidently. In case you were wondering what Wallaby Swamp looks like, that's it. As I've traditionally done with new bikes, I'll show you the shifting at 50% speed. This is about my 200th kilometre on this bike. I've shifted the front chainring a few times, from big to little ring, and up until now, no drop chain from the front derailleur, okay? So everyone who leaves that traditional comment on SRAM product reviews, dismissed. Let's move on, all right? And I'm feeling pretty optimistic. You know, like, I haven't had any issues with the SRAM Force AXS, the re-released version, with the slight tweak of the front derailleur. And so far on this bike, all tickety-boo. I stopped at the last big, well, what you would call a crest, I suppose, just before a big downhill, because I'd been 40 odd K in from Colo Heights and had not seen a shop, a tap, a hint of a refueling station, as in somewhere to get some sustenance. Anyway, and then I saw a sign just a little bit back there, just after the downhill. Hold the bus. That's the first real building. I've seen. Kind of weird. Anyway, there you go, the monastery. And then there was a sign about 5 kilometres back there saying, this is the last stop for 65 kilometres. So it's fair to say, you know, in terms of civilization, not far from Sydney, is a pretty barren stretch of bitumen. Anyway, I'm at my 50k mark. I'll go a little bit further along, spin around, top up my bottle there, and call it a day. But already it's been a pretty good ride, better than. So the decision's been made. I'll round out 2 hours, which is a couple of minutes away, then turn around. But Putty is probably 3 kilometres down here. And I don't think it's a town. I just think it's a place that has a name. So that'll serve me. That'll be my Colo Heights to Putty ride. And the introduction of a bike, the application of a Hyundai car to get me to my, let's say, departure site, and then a little patch of bitumen just to, you know, find my mind by losing my thoughts, or find some thoughts by losing my mind, or not having to concentrate on too much. And it's been a very enjoyable Sunday morning ride. I think I've just hit Putty, which is pretty much 2/3 of bugger all. So there's all the things you can do in Putty. You can have an adventure. You can go to Putty. You can test the vibration dampening characteristics of a new bike over a cattle grid. You can come here about 4 weeks before magpie season kicks off and not really worry about swooping birds. You can appreciate the arrival of sunshine as it bursts through the overcast conditions that have hung overhead up until this point of a ride. You can take the opportunity to take in some lush surrounds, take in a few bends, or just generally meander. I think I've hit the heart of Putty. That was a rough old cattle grid. Alright, I've got 5 more minutes to round out 2 hours, so I will do that. you know, I'm all alone, so I accept these guys. Oh, la vache. La vache, la vache. Oddly, this is pretty much what I expected. Not much bigger than a donkey, that one. Everything's funny when Putty's part of the title. Maybe I'll just keep going until it turns to dirt, which could be interesting because it might not turn to dirt because it's called Putty Road. Alright, 1 minute from my 2-hour turnaround suggestion to self, and I don't know if that's gonna hit me. I'm not feeling terribly hungry right now, and I feel in a happy place. There's no wind, there's no traffic, there's a road, there's discovery, there's, you know, time to meander, and I might just keep going a little bit further. It's all really quite lovely. Oh, finally some kangaroos that aren't dead. A golf course? That's weird. Anyway, this is this is nice now. This is really nice. It's all been really quite lovely. So I did as I said I would. I've ridden until gravel, dirt, whatever. And that was really, yeah, the last little patch, the last 10k made it all worthwhile. It was all, you know, hassle free, but the last bit was really quite lovely. I'd recommend it. Come to Putty, see very little while taking in a great deal of beauty. Water views on Kookaburra Way. Yeah, I just stopped because, yeah, I hadn't done a real water crossing yet. I'm not going to go across there either, but I just thought I'd take in the view. Yeah. That's a different kind of story of my ride. And for me, it was the most enjoyable, curious adventure. I didn't know what I was doing, so I couldn't know what to expect. But I think I'll do it again. if I were to do it again, what I would expect is a little bit of tranquility on the bicycle, not too far from Sydney. And yeah, I haven't seen a traffic light yet, so that's pretty positive, isn't it? All right, signing off from Kookaburra Way, Putty, one of the very few side streets, and in a curiously remote part of New South Wales.